a judge established a mental health court, and she said the first time in my career I spent 20 years as a prosecutor, 20 years as a judge. I have to actually advocate for a client. You know, I was taught to be an advocate in law school, but I've never been an advocate as a judge or a prosecutor. And now I have to change my mindset that I'm an advocate for the client. And I have to order agencies of government to do the proper thing. So a couple of other court cases that have come down. And Judge Marcia Petchman, I used to drive her to the airport. She would call me. We had nice conversations. I reported that my nephew, who was in a group home, went on a field trip to Packwood and left him there. So he broke into a group grocery store, stole one sandwich and a Coke because he was hungry. He spent 6 months in Western State for a psych evaluation. A year ago, Disability Washington filed a lawsuit. Judge Petchman, the state of Washington said, oh no, we don't have enough time, we want to drag out this case. Judge Petchman's reply is, you're the largest law firm in the state of Washington, I will not change my calendar. She had a trial in March, and 3 days later she issued an order, every court in Washington state shall do a psych evaluation in 7 days and drop the charges. So there are some precedents of law.
Thank you very much.
One final thing I'd like to give to you is that the banks in Wall Street Journal 2 weeks ago published that they have 100,000 units that are being held by banks and not delivered to the community. If you as the city go to the major banks in Oregon and say, how many units do you have in inventory that you can actually put on the market so we can sell those houses and free up rental property, we might be able to change the rental market in a very short period of time, change from 2% to possibly 5%.
Very good point. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Hey guys, my name is Jesse Sponberg. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Real quick, couple ideas. The landlords keep coming up here, and the people that rent, the people that represent the housing industrial complex, keep coming up here and giving you examples of cause eviction reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Jesse,
You were on the
real quick,
declaration.
Right.
You're going to have a chance.
I know, I got that.
We're not taking up the renter. We're not taking up the renter protection.
I just want to get those out of the way real quick.
Right, do you have?
Okay. All right, then I'll cut to the goddamn chase. Hey, nobody here is fooled that in an election year, you guys all of a sudden decide you're going to care and then maybe get sued. Meanwhile, there are people literally in the streets every day. Now, this is nice. You guys come out. You've been on city council damn near 16, 18 years, man. How many years on your watch have these problems been developing? These problems developed while you were here, while you were here, while you were here, and now you guys you talk to each other like you're some great heroes. I'd like to thank the mayor. I'd like to thank the commissioner. No, we're not fooled. This happened on your watch. You guys are throwing water on the fire that you helped start. I saw the newspaper. I know how much money, how many campaign donations you're getting from these same people. You guys let that older gentleman sit here and talk for 20 minutes. I said, he's got to be on the inside. Commissioner Fritz said, oh, it's nice to have families that know each other, but I bet I don't even get 2 minutes here to talk. I'm telling you, this city is on fire. And I'm telling you, if you continue to use your police officers to be the strong arm of the banks, and if you have people like Mark Kruger showing up to evict families, I promise this city will go nuts. And if you guys want to sit up here and keep patting yourselves on the back, that's great. But this is a very, very serious warning. We're going to start putting bodies in front of the problem, sir. So you can throw money at it. You can throw $30 million that you can't find anywhere else to keep working with the poverty pits and the same red tape and bureaucracy that has created this problem. Meanwhile, there are people whose only crime is trying not to die on the streets of your city, dude. All you guys are trying to do is keep the pitchforks away and get reelected. And I really hope that not a single person all day has bought into that BS. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you. So I'm Brent Rosenthal, and who I represent is, in this crisis, I wanted to add an issue that hasn't really been talked about at all, and that's the people that are felons, that are druggies, that are criminals, that are less than perfect, that aren't up here saying that I have perfect credit and a kid and all these things in life through shit in my plate. I've created all this. So I've gotten to the point where I'm still a father. Still got a 12-year-old kid. I'm still raising someone else's kid currently. I still pay my bills. I still pay my rent. I still wash my ass. I still brush my teeth. I still call my mom at night. I still call my girlfriend. I still tell my friends I love and care for them. Where do I do that from? When all these property management, even these, I had to go to a private lender. I don't have a fan in my bathroom. I don't have a washer and dryer in my bathroom. I live in a piece of shit farmhouse converted into 16 apartments from like 1920. And I sit in my apartment, which is on the front, and I look at 6 houses. They're perfect little pea pod houses, probably put together in the 30s or 40s, maybe around wartime or something. They're just little, everyone gets a house and a fridge and a stove and the 4 walls and the roof. But they've been sitting there for 5 years across from my apartment, empty. I see lights on in one. This one's even got power in it for the last 9 months I've been there. The house next to me has got bushes growing over the house because it's been empty too for even longer than the ones across the street. There's plenty of opportunity out there. There's plenty of land. There's plenty of 4 walls and a roof. I mean, I understand that I made whatever my choices were in society, and I paid for those sitting in a box somewhere, and I paid for whatever crimes I committed against the rules of society. But there has to be a point where I still have to be a contributing part of this. I still have a child to raise. I still have so there's all these statistics that says my 12-year-old is going to be a criminal and a gang member and shoot guns off and fall out of school and be a piece of shit because his dad's a piece of shit. But if I'm not, based on just the decisions that were in my past, and I'm making it for the future, then how do you go about taking those pieces that you say, like the kids of incarcerated parents are going to be shit because their parents are shit? Well, if you don't give the person a chance to get out, to get a job, to get all this stuff together, where do I shower? Where do I clean? Where do I put my slacks and my ties and my shirts that I get from the cleaners? Where do I put all this shit? Do I put it in a cart? Do I put it under a lean-to? Do I go stay in a park because parks are where people can stay? That's kind of bullshit. It's kind of not right. It's not fair. It's not real. There's human beings here. And the last thing I apologize to go over, but the last thing I want to say is, you made a mention about money earlier. Where's the money? You got this big building, and who's making money? Fuck money. There's people here, human beings, flesh and blood, life, that has to have more value than any kind of currency. I don't care what color, what face, what number, what denomination you put on it. It has to be more than that. There's people here. I'm a person. That's it.
I'd like to thank all who testified. For the record, my name is Charles Johnson, and I believe we're just talking about the emergency statement. Right?
Please.
So I think it would be very good if you would consider, at least in the public remarks, including language where you say that the situation is such a grave crisis that is parallel to the situation found in Oregon Statutes 91.225, paragraph 5, where it talks about disasters that impact the rental market and the capacity to house people. And then we can let Ms. Rosenblum decide if she wants to challenge you. No matter how the property pimps, the landlords, they can all challenge you in court if they wish. And the courts could say they don't have standing. So act strongly. The situation is analogous to a situation under 91.225-5. Act strongly. If the wealthy people don't want to see the poor people get help, let them go into courts and say so.
Thank you. Pastor Mark, I think you get the last word before we vote on the.
Not quite. I find that on this one.
Mary, on this one, we're gonna lose a quorum, so we're gonna have to take a vote. We'll hear from you in a little bit.
Reverend Mark Knudsen, pastor of Augustana Lutheran Church in Northeast Portland. I came to speak on both, but I'll just speak to one. We are home to the Community Alliance of Tenants, as well as 5 other nonprofits, and we estimate close to 30,000 visits to the church a year outside of worship around issues of justice and social accountability in our city and our state. And this is a major crisis. I didn't come, I spent almost 3 hours here today with many other things I could have been doing, because this is such a crisis. And as clergy, as rabbis, as imams, as spiritual leaders in the city, we deal with it every day. We're members of our congregations, to members of the community. And we know, we've watched gentrification happen in the city, and this is another major piece that affects the well-being of our citizens. I can speak to one person in the congregation, 80 years old, worked, retired, lived by the White Center. Now she's living out beyond 82nd. And her biggest fear is that she leaves, she may get moved again. And she spends 80% of her income on her housing. And at the expense, and the farther out she has to move, the farther she is from any services, from her community, from the people she knows. That's just one example. You all are people of conscience, I know that. And we have a major, major crisis in our midst. And we know that our cities, our nation, our state, we're measured by how the most vulnerable are doing. And that's our challenge. And I very strongly support what you're going to do next week, but I think that's just the tip of what needs to be done. So redouble your efforts, put this at the top of the list. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're going to take a vote now on the declaration, and then we'll take further public testimony while we still have a quorum. I know we're going to lose a couple people, so we have to vote while we still have them. So, yes.
You're going to vote on 1029 first, the code amendment, and then 1030, the declaration.
Yes, in that order. 1029 first, please.
Aye. We don't do this lightly. It's obviously an emergency and a very significant challenge to our community. So what this ordinance does is amend Title 15 to authorize the council to declare an emergency, which we're going to do in the next session. It doesn't specify specifically how we're going to do this. It doesn't specify what we're going to do in particular, other than waive the zoning code for 2 storage units. So that's only the start of what we need to do. The other challenge is that we don't yet know, and we have only started the discussions of how to find the $20 million that has been pledged by my colleagues. So that, it seems unlikely that we're going to have $20 million of additional money in the next budget. So we will be looking at services such as police, fire, parks, and others to figure out how can we provide all of the services that people want. There are fewer people living outside in the entire Great Britain, which is the same size as Oregon. There are fewer people living outside there than there are in the city of Portland. And that's because the community in the United Kingdom pays a lot more in taxes to provide the services so that everybody can be inside. And so it's very much a matter of not only what are we willing to do, but how are we going to pay for it. And I very much appreciate the mayor and Commissioner Salson and Commissioner Fish, the triumvirate of the 3 housing commissioners, bringing this forward and taking some active steps to address this as the crucial issue that it is.
Mayor, thank you for scheduling this vote. I have a water users consortium meeting tonight. I'd be happy actually to defer and have you go in my stead, but I am obligated to be there. First of all, I just want to say to the mayor, thank you for bringing this forward. And to our critics, let's acknowledge that this vote in and of itself solves nothing. We said it. And it doesn't solve anything right now. But it gives us the flexibility to do some things we couldn't do before. And therefore,